everyone. Long time no see. I know it's been a couple weeks since we put out a video, but honestly, there hasn't been a lot going on. And rather than just give you some videos of some junk, we took a little time off. We've done a short here or there, maybe another video, but nothing I've wanted to put out and bring to you. But where are we today? We are in the third of 3 bedrooms. So the first 2 bedrooms are done, as you know. This is the last bedroom upstairs that we have to do. And this room is shaped a little differently than the rest. This one's going to be maybe a little bit more challenging when it comes to drywall work. This was my room growing up. Some of you may not know, I grew up in this house, and this was my bedroom growing up. And I spent a lot of time in this room. When Kristen and I moved here almost 5 years ago now, this became our room. I wanted to be back in this room because, I don't know, the room we're in now was my mom and dad's room, and it's just weird to me to be in what I always knew as my mom and dad's room. The other room that the girls are in now was my sister's room, and this was my room, so this is where I feel most comfortable. You can see, for instance, here's the carpet I had when I was a kid. This is the carpet I remember being in this whole room, and it got changed. My mom got me some new carpet in here sometime when I was maybe a freshman in high school or something like that. But that's about the time, I don't know, 8th grade, freshman year, that's about the time things started changing in this room. Maybe a little sooner, I don't really remember, but there's just some funny stories in this room. And for one, it was always cold. This room was always cold, and I've always kind of told the story that if it were, well, it was cold and hot. If it were 100 degrees outside, it was 115 up in this bedroom. And if it was 0 outside, it felt like it was minus 20 in this bedroom. Same boiler heat. So we got registers all the way around. And as far as I can remember, those have always been here. The problem is that we only had one thermostat downstairs. So when that thermostat would satisfy, there was no heat up here, and it got cold. This room is on the north side of the house, and so in the wintertime, it just caught that northerly wind, and I remember laying in bed sometimes in the wintertime, and I'd have the covers up to my chin, and I'd have a sweatshirt on with a hoodie, and I'd have the covers up like this, and and I'd see my breath, and it was just cold. I made the poor decision one time of complaining to my dad that it was cold, and he was none too happy about that. That was one of the, I was probably, I don't even remember, 13 or 14, and he did not like that. My dad was old school, born in 1940, and just didn't like the fact that I was complaining about being cold in a house that he was providing and paying for. So I didn't really understand that then. I understand it now. As I've always said, you know, the older I get, the smarter my dad gets. But another funny story is, so the windows have been changed. They got changed probably 6 years ago. My mom had new windows put in, or newer windows at the time, but Up until that point, these were, when I was growing up, they were original single pane wood frame windows. And man, did they leak. I could feel that air coming through these windows. Now we had storm windows on the outside. At some point, Dad had put storm windows up, but it didn't matter because I could feel the air coming through here. A couple times I remember, and you might be able to see the water damage on this ledge. You can see the discoloration right here. But it was snowing. It would be snowing and blowing so bad. I would wake up and there would be about 2 inches of snow inside the room on the windowsill. And I just remember being like, man, this ain't good. But what do you do? I mean, you know, I'm not complaining. You know, I grew up with 2 good parents and a nice home to live in, and I'm very grateful for the way I was raised and the things that were given to me. But that's a little bit about this room, you know. And a couple other funny stories, I guess, was, if you can remember, in some of our first videos, I showed insulating the attic up above here because there was no insulation. And if you've watched any of our other videos, you know there's no insulation in the walls. In these old houses, they didn't put insulation in the walls. And so I was fortunate. My parents did not make me work when I was in high school. We grew up in a family that played sports, and you know, a lot of our summertime was spent playing baseball, AAU basketball, and just we played sports, and that's what my dad allowed us to do. I was, I guess, fortunate or unfortunate, I don't know. They didn't make me go out and get a job. However, I did. I wanted to work to get money, have money to do things. So I think probably around the age of 14, I started baling hay and straw. And I baled hay and straw for 4 different farmers. Farmer Danny, Farmer Mark, Farmer Jack, and Horseman Don. And, you know, would make some spending money doing that. Not very often, because you can only bale so much, and then it's got to regrow, and you know how it goes if you've ever baled hay and straw. But I think I was 14 years old, and I had earned enough money. I went and bought some insulation, and I went up in the attic and insulated the space above my room, which helped. It helped a little bit in the wintertime to retain some of the heat in the room. So that was good. And then somewhere along the line, again, very fortunate. I think my mom felt sorry for me enough that she bought me a waterbed. And waterbeds have kind of gone out of favor in the past 15, 20 years. I'm not really sure why. That was one of the best things I've ever had. I had a super single waveless mattress, and I mean, it was awesome. It could be 0 in this room, and I was comfortable because of that waterbed. And I love that thing. It saved my life, frankly. But so another thing is to help with the heat in the summer. I always had fans. I always had fans going. I would open that window and I'd put a fan in that window and try to circulate air through the room. And then again, with some of my money that I'd earned baling hay and baling straw, I went and bought a ceiling fan. Well, my dad was an industrial electrician. In fact, both my parents were electricians. My dad, did high voltage work as well as control work. My mom mainly did control work for the company that they worked for. But I bought this ceiling fan and I was going to install it. No problem. And we had an old Push-O-Matic breaker box, which we still have in this house, and I intend to replace when I get downstairs. But we had an old Push-O-Matic breaker box that wasn't labeled real well, and I was trying to find the circuit that this bedroom was on. And so I went down there and I started pushing breakers, trying to figure out which circuit this was on. And I killed the power to the living room that Dad was in watching TV. And he was none too happy. And that was the first time my dad and I ever went nose to nose. I wanted help and he didn't want to help me. And I don't know. It was just, I don't know, that kind of changed things, I think, in our relationship a little bit. He saw me growing up and becoming a young man, and I don't know why he reacted the way he did, but anyway, long story longer, I got the ceiling fan put up. This was another thing that saved my life. I think I was 16 when I did that. I think around 16. So for about 2 years, I was able to live in this room and have a ceiling fan to turn on and keep some air moving at night when I was up here sleeping. So that was good. But anyway, that's kind of a little bit of some funny stories and background of this room and my relationship with it. But it's got this odd little window here. Not really sure why that's there or what it's for, but it's original. You can see how dirty it is. Look at the cobwebs. Ugh, this ain't cleaned. We're gonna keep that. I'm not gonna replace that. So I'm gonna redo the trim. It's got a storm window on the outside. So what I'll probably end up doing is taking that off and painting it black to match the rest of the windows on the exterior, and then trimming it out to look like the other windows on the exterior. But I'm not going to replace that window. We're going to leave it. Just kind of a little piece of history. I don't want to have a new one made. I don't want to go through the whole thing of trying to take it out. And it's not in a real great spot. It's hard to get to. And the roof on this house is, I mean, it's got to be a 12-12 pitch. It's insane. So it's not easy to get to. If I do get up there and do anything, I'm probably going to have a lift, because I don't know about trying to get up there with any kind of ladder. It's just in a weird spot. But this room is on these old Queen Anne Victorian houses. This is what it's called. The roof is called a conical roof. And that's kind of the shape of this room. So we'll be doing the typical stuff that I've done in the other rooms, which is we will gut it. We've got the 2 new windows ordered. And let me tell you, you want to, as if you don't know, the price of everything is going up, up, up. So the last window we ordered for the other bedroom, we paid $450 for it. These windows were $780 a piece. So they've almost doubled in price since I don't know when I ordered that thing, last spring, whenever it was. These things have almost doubled. So I'm paying about $1,500 for 2 windows, and that is awesome. Awesome. But so you can see the damage, just the plaster is just a wreck. It's just a mess. So this actually should come off really easy. That got painted some point by my mom. Yeah. It's got cracks everywhere. That's awesome. Look at that. But this closet is a lot smaller than our other closet in the room we're in now. No light. Never had a light in this closet. I guess one of the bright spots is this wood here appears to be the same width as the trim on the windows. So what I'm going to do from here on out, I'm going to take this down and I'm going to use it to scab onto the window trim like I have in a couple of the other rooms. I didn't have any wood like that to scab onto the trim on the other windows in the other rooms. So I used some wood that was similar, older wood that we had up in the attic. And it's okay, but it doesn't match perfectly. This should. So that'll be good. I'll be able to use it downstairs if I need to on windows down there and whatever. I think there's plenty of it to do that. So that'll be good. But I will start by removing all the trim. I think just like the last room, I'm gonna remove the trim first and get it sandblasted or soda blasted, I guess, and the door, and get all the wood done first so I can have it out of the way, which is gonna take a while. There's a lot of wood in this room. So, I don't know. I'm going to be buying a bunch of the soda. We'll do the registers again, like we did in the other rooms. And the registers stop, the heat run stops there, and then returns back and goes through that wall over there into the closet, and back down to the boiler. What I think I'm going to do is run it through that wall, and we got a closet here that's really smoky, and I don't know if that's staying or not. We don't know what we're going to do with that yet. We don't use it, and I don't know what we're going to do yet. But anyway, run the heat through there, bring it out, and I'll be able to put a register along here over to there. And then who knows, I may even then just return it downstairs that way. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I guess I'll have to return it back. I don't know. Anyway, that'll give us some registers up here because currently there's no heat. There's 2 small registers downstairs in this hallway, and they do nothing. They provide no heat at all. And I think, in fact, once I get downstairs to that hallway, I've been looking at wall heaters, hot water wall heaters that have fans on them. So that'll help blow some of that heat up here as well, and maybe help keep this hallway warm. Because right now we got a thermostat in our bedroom that we're currently in, and we just have to keep our doors shut. I mean, doors are shut all the time. If you open the door, then the heat up here would run nonstop because the hallway's cold, and if that door was open, it would trick the thermostat into thinking that that room was cold, and the heat up here would just run all the time. So doors are closed all the time, which is fine, but you know, you open your door for 2 seconds, the heat kicks on. So this is it. I'm gonna get started. It's I don't know about where you live, but here it is the last day of February. Tomorrow's March 1st. And my personal feeling has always been, once March 1st gets here, at least for where we live, we're home free. The worst of winter is behind us. We might get a little snow. We might get we're certainly going to get a few more cold days, cold nights. But, once March 1st gets here, typically we don't have any more 6, 8-inch snows of any kind or anything like that, unless it's just something weird happens, which is also a possibility, but it would be a rarity. So spring is knocking on the door. I can feel it. And we're going to get started. I'm going to get started on this room, amongst other things. I've got so much to do. I got so many projects. I got to get something done with my driveway. My driveway is an absolute disaster. So I've got to get that dug out, put a new base down, and reconfigure it. I need to make it wider, because now we get out of our cars and we're stepping in the mud, and I just want to make it wider. I want to be able to get out of my car or my truck and step on gravel. Wouldn't that be great? It'd be great. I know it would be great to me. But we're going to get started, and it's around the corner. So stick with us. We'll be back on the house here real soon. Take care.